Okay, Deedlet, you can start the theme song now. Yes, because it's actually Bad Movie Month. I know the last episode was not that good. Well, I can't help that. Yes, it was a television show. It was bad. I understand. But it's now Bad Movie Month. Play the right theme song. Deedlets, do I have to come over there and unplug you? Okay, fine. Just hit the button.
The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
If it hadn't been for you, I would be now in someone else's digestion.
You know there's something you should know, so I'm gonna tell you so.
It's Bad Movie Month on the Cellcast.
Don't sweat it, forget it, enjoy the show.
Working all day, now it's time to unwind. Kick back, relax, take a load off your mind. I'll be busting the moves and I'll be busting the rhymes. We'll be busting up laughing cause it's party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, it's party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, it's party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, well, he misses the rapping dog. Welcome, Jacob.
Amen to that.
I could have let that go on far longer and that we would have all been happier.
Yes, especially in light of this tragedy. What? Anyways, let me introduce our co-host, the man who, just some reason, has this fondness for the color yellow. Welcome, Drew.
Well, what can I say? I like the color green. Green Lantern was my favorite DC hero for a while. I don't like the Sinestro Corps. I don't have anything else to add to this.
Okay.
Also joining us on this episode to finish what he started, or what he came in the middle of, is Nate Marchand of the Monster on Film Vault. Nate, are you there?
Is he okay over there?
Are you there?
What? Where am I? Where am I?
It's podcast time, Nate.
Yeah.
It's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake, Drew, Cellcast. Okay.
You okay over
Just give me
there?
I need a second. Just hold on. Okay. Thanks, Jimmy. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a rough day.
Understandable.
You've probably heard. As of a couple of months ago, I'm a fugitive in
I'm
North
aware
Korea.
of this.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and
North Korea was not
I
kind to him.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
thankfully, as far as I know, I was able to get away before they, arrested me and did Godzilla only knows what. But
It's what you get for being sarcastic there.
yeah, it's what I get for being sarcastic. It's just that I just, for some odd reason, I'm having these vague recollections about being taken to a re-education camp for about 90 minutes. And it's one of the most horrifying experiences of my life.
Hey, Nate.
What?
I've got good news for you.
What's that?
That wasn't a re-education camp.
Oh, thank God.
No, that was the movie we forced you to watch to review for tonight.
Mother trucker!
In fact, you remember, we had you on last year for The Legend of Titanic.
Yeah, and it's
And now-
been one of the few times I've tried to block a podcasting experience out of my memory.
And now we are doing its sequel, this In Search of Titanic.
Oh no, it's all coming
Also known as Tentacalino.
Oh, the lies. So many lies coming back.
Yes.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, you owe me. So bad.
I have been on many episodes of your podcast.
No, you're
Of all
paying
your
me.
podcasts.
Yeah, you're paying me. Next time.
Oh, am I?
Wow,
I
okay.
paid you last time.
Yeah,
I gotta pay double now? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, maybe at this rate. I know I made you guys watch The Mighty Kong, but this was not fair.
I will grant you, this was not as bad as the Mighty Kong.
No, oh my gosh.
No, it wasn't. The Mighty
debatable.
Kong was better than this. That's what I was trying to
I
say.
was gonna say.
I said that backwards.
What? How much crack are you on, sir?
The Mighty Kong gets a leg up on this simply because it's got better music
True.
and a well-written story that it's based on.
True.
Yeah.
This is more.
We're not. How do we want to get into it right now?
Why don't we
Because-
just go ahead and jump into our spoiler-free review of this right
Yes,
quick?
before our dear friend has a
Aneurysm?
aneurysm condition.
Let me.
fit.
All I'm saying is after subjecting myself to this, I understand where my intrepid producer is coming from. Sure, I'll be a little nicer to you from now on. Jeez.
Certified fresh and spoiler free.
How much alcohol was in that?
There was no alcohol in that because I don't drink. I've had
How do
one.
you
I have
survive
one. I've
that
had
movie
one.
month without it?
I've had 2 drinks of alcohol that I'm aware of in my life.
Aware of.
One of
That
them
you
was
are
at
aware of.
one
Yes.
of them was at his bachelor party.
Yeah. What?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, bachelor party. Never mind.
You
never
don't
mind.
remember that?
Apparently, I just forgot that part for 3 seconds. I was like, I thought we had this thing at a Baptist church. What was going on in the backyard? Back 40. What's going on?
Wedding was at a Baptist church.
I'm aware of this.
Yeah,
Bachelor party
speaking
was
of
at a
bachelor
Comic
party,
Con.
Very true.
speaking of bachelor parties, Jimmy, I better get an invitation to yours. Fine, I'll calm down, but after what I have been through today.
So, this is my first viewing of the film in its entirety.
I thought honestly this was his favorite film of all time. He's watched it 40 times, and he's just like he's putting on this play that he actually really enjoys this movie. It's like one of his favorite films of all time.
No, Jacob, no. My only knowledge of this film prior to this was the Nostalgia Critic episode where he reviewed this thing.
Oh right.
I don't even. You want to know how badly this movie hurt me? I don't even remember that video.
So yeah, this is a travesty upon art.
Yeah, think
I do have some nice things to say,
maybe.
but at the same time, oh my word.
Why does my brain hurt?
This movie was made about 20 years too late.
Yes.
And
I only remember lies.
Well, Nate, there's 2 options here. Be like, one, there's sedatives that might help, or a very good mallet.
I
So-
have neither in this freaking mech.
so
Okay, fine. No mallets in the Ubermogra, because you don't know what we might do with it.
So, I will say that this is not good for
Bring
kids.
me my sedative.
This is not good for kids to watch because they shouldn't be forced to watch this thing. Because I'm fairly certain this movie goes against several rules of the Geneva Convention.
I was about to say, there are reasons why I thought I was at a North Korean re-education center.
But
I think
yeah.
this might be used by the dear leader as a form of torture.
So I don't
To
suggest
pump
watching it.
lies into all of his enemies.
I will not be watching
for
it again.
brainwashing purposes.
Since he apparently wants to talk about it. Nate, what are your thoughts on this?
Spoiler free.
Spoiler free.
Lies. So many lies.
I
When
mean,
does the
this has
hurting
nothing.
stop?
The movie has nothing really to do with the Titanic at all. So technically, it is all
It
fiction.
can't even sequel right.
We'll get into that in a minute. Anything else to add,
Continue.
No.
Okay.
Jacob?
All right, so this is my first and last time watching this. So
I will have to be paid to watch this again.
I'm
So,
not watching this
If
again.
any of my patrons are watching or listening to this right now, the answer is no. Not just no. Heck no.
Nate, as a patron of your fine podcast, I will not be submitting this because I'll be forced to watch it again. I won't have a choice. I know this.
I have survived things on my podcast. I have seen things. I have seen Gamera Super Monster. I have survived Yeti Giant of the 20th century. Nothing prepared me for this. Just like Black Widow said in the first Avengers movie, this is magic and such. We were not trained for this.
Oh my gosh. So in preparation, I drew a sketch of what I thought this cover would be for this episode.
Are you about to tell me you're redrawing it?
Are you changing your mind? Are you changing your mind?
No. I sketched this about 2 weeks ago, people.
Oh.
About 2 weeks ago.
I thought you were about the album art you already showed us.
Yes, and be like, and everybody who is listening will see that art on the cover when it comes out on podcast form. Either or. So I was on vacation for what was it?
Singles
Labor
retreat?
Day. Yeah, singles retreat, Labor Day.
The singles retreat we were both on?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to refer to.
The one I technically paid for and you didn't.
Yes, yes. Well, thankfully we were.
He crashed.
We were very lovingly invited.
You crashed.
Yes, we did crash. We did crash.
No, we did not force anyone at that retreat to watch this thing.
No, oh my gosh, no. You'd have people running out of that Airbnb as fast as they could.
We would have been kicked out of the church.
You are not kidding.
We have finally encountered a kaiju Anya doesn't like.
Not cool.
Not cool. Not cool. So be like, I think it was like you get home on Monday. Get home Monday. Tuesday.
I just want to say this.
Okay.
Just random thought occurred to me. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I'm just saying, I would not wish yours cooking on anybody. But if
except for
Yor
tentacles.
But if Yor had this sudden urge to murder Tentacles / Adi, whatever name he wants, and then cook him, I'm not saying no.
Good to know. Good to know. So Monday,
still nobody's gonna eat him, but
yeah, no, of course not. So Monday rolls around. Be like, Tuesday. I'm off. I drive my wife to work.
I think Monday, I forgot to mention this. I live tweeted my viewing of this film.
He did. He did.
And
apparently it was hysterical.
Oh wait, that happened?
Yes.
I should. Why didn't I heed the warnings, Jimmy? Why didn't you stop me? You sadistic word I can't say on this show.
Continue.
So on Tuesday, I decided to draw the cover art. Full please, whole bit. Be like, if you guys want to see my progress work, you can, let me know. I'll listen to you. My whole reason was because I was trying to avoid watching this tragedy in the first place because I saw Drew's live tweets and I was like, oh dear Lord, this is not going to be good. So I'm just going to draw and just like la-di-da-di-da doesn't exist until last night. And then I was like, oh crap, I've got to watch this. No, I watched it on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is not good. For the first time ever done. I mean, I was writing notes. I had a pad out. I was writing notes. And I was like, oh, dear Lord. What? It's like, oh, my gosh, this was terrible.
How long before you gave up?
About halfway through. I was like, yeah, this is a train wreck. So, yes, I literally...
You better have watched this entire thing.
I did.
I can tell you, all three of us, I think, watched this whole thing.
We did. And apparently some of us are a little less off. Am I saying that right? Less off for watching it?
Worse off.
Worse off. That's what I'm going to say. Worse off.
I am a changed man.
You can never go back.
What has been seen cannot be unseen.
You can never go back.
This movie wants to possess my soul like the faceless king.
We have been to doggy hell.
But I thought all dogs went to heaven. You lied to me, Don Bluth. So many lies. I'm surrounded by lies.
Anyway, yes. Was that it, Jacob?
That is all I have to say. I literally delayed watching this by making the cover art for the podcast, where I can make something fun out of this debauchery.
That's what tonight is technically supposed to be for.
Exactly, but I was giving myself some therapy before I had to go watch this crap.
So, yeah, on that note, let's go ahead and jump into the spoiler-filled section, guys.
Can we watch something instead, like do a redo? And
it's too late. It's too late. We've already watched
we
the
have
movie.
already suffered through this. We're gonna rip this thing apart.
We need to
for the therapy.
We've drank the poison. We need to drink the antidote.
That is true.
Which is trashing this thing.
Okay, all right, fine then. If you guys want to insist, I'll go along with it. That's fine. Be like, it's against my will.
I still need to get that clip.
Yes, you do.
The following is a spoiler-filled review for the film In Search of Titanic. Listener discretion is advised. Viewing discretion for this film is also advised.
To quote Nate, Godzilla help us all.
This is the most egregious G-rated movie I've ever seen.
That's saying something.
Yeah, can we rate that? Can we give this a completely unnecessary yet very necessary R rating so nobody watches it unless they are completely depraved already?
Dude, rated X. NC-17. Anyway.
That still implies that people over 17 can watch it.
Technically, NC-17 is worse than R.
Yes.
But it still means people over 17 can watch it.
Can we strip it from memory? It never happened.
In Search of Titanic was directed.
Where's the dumpster fire? I need the dumpster fire.
Wrong podcast.
Help me, bottom shelf. You're my only hope.
Okay, I know whose ad read I'm reading tonight. In Search of Titanic was directed by Kim Jun-wook, who also directed 50 episodes of a television series called Simba the King Lion, a movie called Simba Jr. Goes to New York, and Simba the King Lion, The Final Battle. I don't know what any of this is.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Kid me, because I'm not.
It was written by Celia Castellato, Loris Piota, and Orlando Corradi.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bloom.
No, not Orlando Bloom.
That would just be a tragedy. It's like, what in the Bloom? What were you thinking?
It was just like, you were in Lord of the Rings. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, he was also in that final Pirates of the Caribbean film, too.
Mm.
But at least it wasn't made by Dear Leader.
Anyway, getting into the cast. Don Juan Jeffrey was played by John Chancer, and in the movie Casino Royale, he was the police commander. The James Bond movie Casino Royale, the newer one. So yeah, he at least has a better career than this movie. Elizabeth Top Connors and Biagio was played by Jules De Jeunes. And in the video game Mirror's Edge, she played Faith. Smile.
Wait, these people can actually act?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Apparently.
Smile, Ice, and Baron Von Tilt were played by Stuart Milligan. And in Wonder Woman 84, he played the President of the United States.
From one terrible movie to another.
At least Wonder Woman 84 was better
than this.
Because it had Gal Gadot.
That is true. It makes everything better. And it's got Chris Pine.
Let's not get into what Chris Pine was doing in that film. Can we not?
Okay, fine. Fine.
Audie, a.k.a. Tentacles, a.k.a. Tentacolino. And Pingo.
Nice.
And Pingo was played by...
The same person voiced the two abominations.
Yes!
Oh, my word.
Yes. Was played by John Guerrasio. And in a video game called, and I kid you not, Chicken Police Paint It Red, he played Zip H. Murphy. However, in
Did
something
he get
that
turned into a really bad RoboCop knockoff?
I don't know, but in a much better game, Pac-Man World 3, he was the voice of Clyde.
Oh.
One of the ghosts?
One of the ghosts.
Oh, can I feed the
The
abominations
ghost
to
that's scared of
Pac-Man?
everybody.
Yeah, can I feed the abominations to Pac-Man? Wait, they'd probably give him indigestion.
They'd turn Pac-Man blue.
That is true.
And the ghost would then be able to eat him faster. The King of Atlantis, the Rat Chief, and the Rat Pirate, who automatically loses points for not being called the Pirate,
Very true.
was played by Eric Myers. And in Chicken Police, Paint It Red,
Oh, dear Lord.
he played Dr. Reginald Bubo.
Bobo?
Bubo.
Bubo.
Not Bobo.
Wait, that's a character from MSD3K. What is going on? Space is warped and time is bendable. I
He
don't
also
understand.
played in the movie Shanghai Nights a front desk clerk.
Really?
Yes.
Yay.
Forever?
The singing voice of Ice and Pingo
Ay, ay, ay.
was sung by Doug Meakin. He's actually been on this show before in Bad Movie Month.
Really?
Yes. He was Dirk in Titanic, The Legend Goes On.
Oh,
He
fun.
was in two awful
He was
animated Titanic
he was the
movies.
Leonardo DiCaprio in that film.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh,
Ay, ay, ay.
It all comes full circle.
The circle of life.
More like the circle
there is no
of
life here,
crap.
sir.
Kingdom Hearts connections.
Really?
How many you want to guess we have?
There better be zero.
One.
Jacob, you are wrong. What? There is less than one.
Oh.
Nate had it right.
Wow.
There
Nate
is
was
no one in this film who was in Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 365 over 2 days, Kingdom Hearts Recoded, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, A Fragmentary Passage, Kingdom Hearts 3, or any of the mobile games, and not in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Nobody was in this film that was in those things.
It's because they are not worthy of being in anything good.
Apparently.
Not even in the European dubs.
Wow. That's just sad.
So, Jacob, what do we have in info and stuff?
All right. So, info and stuff. All right. So, IMDb has a 7.9 out of 10.
This is not the right film!
Wrong! Stop it! Why? Why am I
I don't even
surrounded by
know which
lies?
one you're reading because I know that ain't what the other two
Lies.
animated Titanic movies got, and I know for goodness certain, as popular as it was, that is not what James Cameron's Titanic was either.
You better be glad that I'm recording this remotely, or else I would reach across the table and I would wring your scrawny neck. You liar!
There's no way this is rated a 7. Maybe a 0.07, but not a 7.
They don't allow for tenths of a percentage.
All right.
What was that?
That was Titanic from 1997.
That's the James Cameron one. There's no
I
way it's
know.
rated that low. It was too well liked.
That's what it said on IMDb. Anyways, let's get to our movie, the movie we are going to review and probably bash.
If you don't stop breaking the seventh commandment, I will break you!
All right, so IMDb has a 1.3 out of 10.
I think that's still too high, but continue.
Rotten Tomatoes, there is no rating on this movie.
Thank the Lord.
It's available to
Oh,
watch on...
hey, Sean, who hacked IMDb? Who hacked you? It was probably Dear Leader.
He has the capabilities and the budget.
He's the only one in the country with internet access.
He is the reason that Sony got hacked that one time.
That is true, because they made a movie about him. Mm-hmm. All right, so available to watch on Tubi. Production was SEK Studios, Modo. Moto, am I saying that right? Moto?
Yeah, I think so.
Moto TV. Let's see. Distribution was Moto Cinema. Its runtime was 88 minutes, a bit too long in my personal opinion.
It was 91 on Tubi.
Scary.
I hate you, Tubi.
I have
Why
never
did
been
you
so
make it?
happy to see a commercial break in my entire life.
Amen to that. Minus, I didn't get commercial breaks. It just kept going and going and going. I don't even pay for Tubi.
Nobody pays for Tubi.
I know that.
The advertisers paid for Tubi.
Yes. Someone
the
paid
title.
to view this thing on there.
Walmart paid a lot of money for me to watch this thing, because that's who all my commercials were for.
Here's the title of your episode, guys. If you paid to watch this on Tubi, you paid too much. No, if you watch this on Tubi, you paid too much.
All right. Its release date was June 17th, 2004. There's no video. There's no theatrical release. There's no home video release information at all for this film. So
I do think it has a home media release.
It does, but it's like a print-on-demand thing, so there's no stats.
Yeah, there's no information on it whatsoever. But I guarantee
If you paid to have this printed on demand, you have committed a crime against humanity.
I mean, admittedly, if you did, you probably also bought The Legend of Titanic and Titanic, The Legend Goes On. So you could have the trilogy of garbage.
Yes. And some people actually like garbage.
You know, I enjoy myself some bad movies now and then. Heck, some of the things that I podcast about, people would call bad movies. What self-respecting cinephile would be caught dead with this?
I'm just saying it says a whole heck of a lot that Riff Tracks has not touched these.
You're not kidding.
I think they're scared.
Maybe.
I think the jokes are the movie makes fun of itself enough they can't make any jokes.
It's self-explanatory, funny.
Anyway,
bad.
continue, Jacob.
Funny. And the only thing, yearly rating, there is no rating because
nobody cares.
Nobody cares. The reviews.
There's no rating.
Well, that was one review that I saw that was very interesting.
There's no IMDb rating.
No, there's no. And the only review I found on IMDb, and I can't repeat what they said on this podcast because we were a family-friendly podcast. Because all it said was the F word every single time. Is how bad it was.
So Chris Evans, an impression of Chris Evans from Knives Out in his first scene.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
I have to confirm this garbage.
Yes, go look up this garbage.
While you're confirming,
yes,
let's go into the summary so people will know what the heck we're talking about.
Brace yourself, people. This is bad.
Okay,
brace for impact.
In 1915, we took a little trip along. No, I'm kidding. In 1950, Don Juan, Elizabeth, their German Shepherd Smile, and their pet mice. See, they've been downgraded to pets.
Yeah.
Top Connors and Ronnie are tasked by the U.S. Navy to explore the ocean depths in search of the wreck of the Titanic. When was the government brought into this?
Yeah, what the world?
Excuse me. A gang of tiger sharks led by Mr. Ice, who technically was the villain shark from the last film.
He was.
Orders them to cut the cables of the bathysphere that the humans and their pets are on and sink it because he dislikes the craft's yellow color.
I'm blue, because that's what these heroes would be. They'd be blue.
After the shark attack, the craft falls and wedges between some rocks, leaving the occupants unconscious
and dead.
The giant octopus Tentacolino, a.k.a. Tentacles, a.k.a. Audie, finds the craft and tries to pull it out. recognizing the occupants on board. Suddenly, a host of mer people arrive to fill in for him, explaining that the surface is too far and the occupants will perish due to a loss of oxygen from the impact.
They're already dead.
They enter the craft and use spray cans to install bubbles on their heads so they don't drown. As the mer people travel back to their base, the group awaken and find themselves in Atlantis, where the mer people live. Smile the dog at first is terrified by this, thinking he's in doggy hell, but calms down shortly after. The expeditioners undergo a procedure of drinking an elixir which enables them to breathe underwater before entering the city. Pingo, a living toy silverfish, who is one of the ambassadors for Atlantis' monarchy, reveals to them through a musical number in a room full of living toys that they cannot go back to the surface, shocking the group. Later in the main square, Smile falls in love with another female dog, eventually delighting her with a rose planted on her hair.
Another female dog? Are you saying Smile's a girl?
Well, I'm just quoting what the thing says. Admittedly, Smile's eyelashes did make me wonder.
Also, I have an update to the info and stuff.
Oh, really? Do tell.
I don't know what you were looking at, Mr. Jacob, but there is an IMDb score for this travesty.
Really? I didn't see that. What is it?
Based on 8? No, 1.9 thousand. So 1,900 ratings. 1.3.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Also, you can rent and buy it on Amazon.
I'm not surprised.
For the low price of $4.
Too much.
Way too much. Go
And
watch it on YouTube.
And you can buy it for $10.
What
on that note, let's continue our travesty.
Also, it is pretentiously subtitled an animated classic on Amazon Prime.
Well, somebody thinks highly of this.
Yeah, apparently. Someone who's lost their marbles after going to
Jeff Bezos. I hate you.
Meanwhile, the pet mice Ronnie and Top Connors are approached by a couple of rats and attend a secret meeting of a larger group of mice and rats, where they learn about a conspiracy to steal Atlantis' elixir of life, so as to gain immortality and strive for world domination, of course! The group is led by a pompous but naive propagandist rat and is in cahoots with the sharks and their leader, Ice, Mr. Ice, from earlier. Ronnie and Top Connors alert the others about the plot. The king of Atlantis decides to have the two mice spy for him on the rat's plan and substitute the elixir flask for a flask of ordinary water so as to sabotage their plan. The sharks send a telegram, that's what you want to call that, to a boat on the surface where a couple of men are on their own expedition to find a perceived treasure in the Titanic. These are the human villains from the last film. They are told to be on guard and support the sharks and rats on their mission.
What?
Yes, during a battle between the mer people and the sharks, a young toy soldier is promoted to be the new general of a 19th century style artillery group after being at first mistaken for a little girl on account of a wig he wore.
I'm Scottish!
The mer people use an amnesia laser to zap the ship on the surface, making the men forget what they were doing so as to repel them. Meanwhile, the rats and mice steal the fake elixir and present it to their rat leader and a mouse elder, who is used as a guinea pig to see how the elixir works. After consuming one drip of the flask, the elder is tied to a couple of bricks and dropped into a deep well of water, which almost drowns him, as a few of the mice jump in to save him, realizing the elixir was illegitimate. Infuriated, the elder demands the rat leader and his fellow conspirators be committed to a mental hospital in the sewers and be kept there forever, despite his desperate pleas.
Where are the rubber walls? I need the rubber walls.
Can we join these rats?
We'll get to him. As a reward for their help defending Atlantis from the sharks and rats, the king assists the expeditioners in the Titanic's recovery, enlisting the assistance of a Audie, whatever his frickin' name is, and Pingo. The king then transports the Titanic and their expeditioners to the bay of a secret island where Don Juan and Elizabeth will live happily ever after while being able to return to Atlantis whenever they wish, but never being able to go home. Thus, making the first movie not be able to happen because Tom Connors was the stupid grandpa rat from the first film that was telling the story! Trivia for this episode.
Oh, fun.
For this movie.
There's trivia.
There's trivia.
Yes.
Despite the dub being done in the UK, the credits list Rome-based voice actors Jane Alexander, Anna Mazziotti, Francis Pardalihan, and Gregory Smegnoff, all of whom voiced characters in the previous film. This could indicate that a placeholder dub may have been with these actors. In other words, we got the stuff that was not good enough, and they couldn't get the original actors to come back.
I wonder why.
While the dub overall was recorded in the UK, the singing voices of Ice and Pingo, however, were recorded in Rome, Italy, with Doug Meakin providing the vocals. Meakin had previously voiced a character in Titanic, The Legend Goes On, as Dirk. Despite its title, the film doesn't focus on the Titanic at all.
No.
Even the original Italian titles
The
are live.
film is also called Tentacolino, even though the character has very little screen time.
Yes.
When the rats and sharks meet each other before being attacked by the Atlanteans, their meeting place is the actual wreckage of the Titanic.
And he doesn't look much like a wreck either.
No, it just looks like it's, well, Tentacles did put it back together at the end of the last film. It just still sank.
They even show the clip where he does it.
And when he died.
Yes.
And came back.
Whoever resurrected this character, should be ashamed of themselves.
We are at a fever dream of a film, folks.
He was alive at the end of the last movie.
Everybody was alive at the end of the last movie. Even the rat we saw die.
Yes. Oh my word.
So many lies.
If it's not obvious how we feel about this being Bad Movie Month, we are actually starting off with dislikes.
Yeah.
We're
doing something a little different.
Nate Marchand, you are our guest. You may fire the first shot.
Volley, please.
Hit the button, Drew.
Rentmaster activated.
This audio clip owned by Nate Marchand of the Monster Island Film Vault. For more information, please go to monsterislandfilmvault.com.
I hate this script.
What script?
Much. Everything is wrong with this script. The characters are inconsistent. They get over things remarkably fast to the point where I'm not even convinced that they are actual human beings, if let alone sane characters. Oh, guess what? You can't leave. You're stuck here in Atlantis forever. Oh, I guess we'll stay. What is wrong with you? And I don't understand the motivations of the bad guys. Why do the rats want to leave Atlantis if it's so perfect? Why do they want to take over the world? How can they take over the world? Why can't they take over the world? I don't understand. The world building makes no sense either. This is like a dumping ground of ideas that, if you played around with them and gave them space, they could have been cool. But we are throwing them all into a blender. And they don't make sense together. Why is the Isle of Misfit Toys down here? Did it sink and become part of Atlantis? Where's Mother Chucking Rudolph? Why didn't he save them? You have failed us, Rudolph. You have failed us. You have failed these toys, and now they're stuck in this paradise, and they have been so encumbered by Stockholm Syndrome that they don't want to leave. And I don't understand why they're red. You know what this is? You know what this plot is? This so-called plot. You ever seen a movie called Latitude Zero? I did an episode about it.
I know of it.
This is like a really bad version of that. This is one of those times where the utopia is somehow not a dystopia, and yet there are still people who want to destroy it or get away, and I don't understand why. They can't even be bothered to give us an explanation. And then you've got the Scottish guy who became a doll and confused for a girl. That would be funny in a better movie. It would be funny in a better movie. Then he's in it for like 5 minutes and he's gone. I'm like, you were the closest thing to a character I liked. And you get nothing, because that's what this movie is. It is nothing. Oh, and you know what else? You know what you need in order to have anything that resembles a story, even a bad one? Conflict. What conflict is in this movie? Every time there could be conflict, they just throw it out the window. Or they resolve it in 30 seconds. Why? Why would you do that? I thought Ready Player One, the book was bad when it came to that. No, at least there was a treasure hunt. And people were trying to find something. What are people trying to do? These characters have no goals. They have nothing. Except for the bad guys. I was like, you're the only ones who make any sort of sense. Who have any sort of motivation or conflict. It makes no sense, but at least you got something. And you know what the worst part is? The Faceless King could have been cool. That's such a cool name, the Faceless King. Wearing a cloak, and the cloak looks like it's hollow. I'm like, this is such a cool idea. Why is it wasted in this movie? This movie is where good ideas go to die. It hurts me so much. Ah! This is like idea genocide, this movie. It just kills everything, like North Korea. This is where it was made. This is a massacre upon story. Where are my notes? I might have more.
On that note,
are you done? Breathe.
And the lies. The lies. It can't even sequel right. Are we going to talk about how it can't sequel right and all the lies?
That might be one of my dislikes, yes.
Maybe.
Okay. I'll
Maybe.
say it.
Jacob?
My first dislike is this movie is a disrespectful piece of garbage that basically tramples upon every single thing that the first two movies tried to do.
But it has nothing to do with one of them.
Exactly.
One of them's not even technically in the same universe.
That is true. That is true. So you have this film that has it tries to build upon, and again it fails miserably, from its predecessor. Which, if we were to go back and watch the other film, we'd probably like, oh, that's actually not a bad movie. This is a pile of garbage. And somehow somebody thought in their brilliant mind that that the last movie made enough money, let's make another one. Why? Like Nate just said, this movie.
Why is this movie?
Yeah, exactly. Why is this movie? Why in the world you throw everything into a blender, you throw it at the wall, and hopefully it sticks, and nothing sticks. Nothing. There's one joke. There's one joke in the movie that made me actually laugh.
There's a joke?
There's a joke.
And it's funny?
I'm curious what this is.
In a sense, it's funny. I thought it was funny. From a certain point of view, it's funny.
Okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi, tell us what it is.
I'll get to that in my likes.
Okay.
I will leave you hanging. But
how dare you hang us from the gallows that is this movie?
This thing.
I'm just stringing you along. Come on, people. Anyways, I really don't have a rant master for this film. It is just a pile of garbage upon garbage of film. The plot makes no sense. The characters make no sense. There's no continuity anywhere. It is just sets upon the floor of the ocean. It literally just sits there and you're like, watch us for entertainment. It's like watching sand dry. It's that bad.
This movie is a greater tragedy than the Titanic itself.
You're not kidding. So yes, it is a pile of garbage that is still burning at 2,000 feet below the 2,000. What is it? Over 2,000 feet? 2,000 feet where the Titanic is?
Something like that.
Yes. And my thought is like, oh my gosh. So let me get this out of the way first. So again, huge fan of the Titanic historical. I think me and Nate are the exact same way. You have this abomination of 1915. And they're going down there in a submersible that wouldn't be created until the 1960s.
Bathysphere.
Yeah, bathysphere.
Bathysphere.
Was it yellow?
My gosh, yes. Bright yellow.
I don't think Ringo and the rest of them are in there.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think they'll live in this yellow submarine. But it's like they're like the bathysphere wasn't created until 1960, sorry. But oh my gosh, be like the sharks
They
go
said
after
it was
this thing.
3 years later.
Yes,
right?
yeah, 3 years later.
3 years later, so that's what?
Dude, the ship that they were...
Assuming they actually got the year right, this should be what, 1915? Should there be a war going on?
The ship that they are lowering off of is not a ship of that time period either.
No, we created like, what? 30 years later?
It looks like something you'd see on the Discovery Channel today.
Exactly.
About to drop off about to take some people out to the oil rigs.
Exactly. And it's just like, oh my gosh.
That is only the least of its anachronisms.
Oh, there's so many inaccuracies about this film. It's not even funny.
No, anachronisms.
That's what I meant to say. Anachronism. My apologies.
Hey.
But like you have this bathysphere, and it's just like, what the crap? They chew through all the cabling. One, at the depth they're at, they're all dead. The entire bathysphere has exploded.
We have proof that is the case.
Yes,
because we've had people in a submarine trying to go find the Titanic.
Wait, this movie is about people who get in a submarine to go find the wreck of the Titanic.
Allegedly.
And it breaks and floods.
And they never came back.
Yay!
This was based on current events.
No, this was prophecy.
This was prophecy. Oh my god!
Because this came out in 2004, and that happened just 5 years ago?
No, not even that. Last year.
Was it last year? I couldn't remember.
Earlier this year.
The dear leader tried to warn us.
But yes, my first is like, this is a heap of piling garbage that is burning 2,000 feet below the surface in the ocean, and it's still burning today because it's crap. Drew, what is your first is like?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a discussion about continuity.
You think?
Look, I know the first film was garbage.
Yes,
I understand this. I saw the film.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Smile could only talk to what's her name? Elizabeth. Because of the magic moon stuff that allowed her to talk to the mice. Guess what? The mice are the only ones that are going to talk to Elizabeth. The mice could talk to Elizabeth also. This doofus, who's Don Juan, who's apparently a prince. I forgot this from the first film.
I think it was, yeah.
They all can talk to everybody.
Apparently.
That's not how this works.
No.
That's not how any of this works.
Screw that.
2. Top Connors was the narrator of the first film. He was introduced to us on screen as a grandpa mouse telling the story of the true story, his words, of the Titanic to his grandchildren. And guess what? He can never leave the island. How did he tell the story in the first place?
You're missing the big one.
Oh, what am I missing?
What are we missing?
They retconned their own lie.
For
more lies.
Everyone did survive, according to them, in this film.
But the ship still sank.
The ship sank at the end of the last one, too.
No, it didn't. They took it back.
That's right. It went to New York. It went to New York.
Look, I am not putting that film in to discover if you're right or wrong. I am never watching.
Drew. I know you want to watch the film again.
No, I did not.
What was it called?
I remember
again?
the end of that film is that Titanic had crushed tentacles at the bottom of the ocean, and then in the next scene, as Top Connors is marrying Grandma Mouse, and Don Juan is marrying Elizabeth in New York City,
and the ship's there.
The tentacles comes back, the friggin' whales come back, and the stupid.
Wait, I was wrong. I was wrong. It's not a retcon. According to Wikipedia, the most reliable source on the internet.
Take that with a grain of Lot's wife.
It says it's actually the Carpathia, the RMS Carpathia, which was
the Carpathia.
Well,
it's not a sister ship. Never mind.
No, it was one of the. That was one of the ships that actually responded to the wreck of the Titanic.
Yes.
Okay.
But
I was wrong.
It was still sank at the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, it was solidly put together. And okay, hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been on cruise ships. Now, a cruise ship is a far cry from an ocean liner, but there are some similarities. And do you know what the bottom of one of those ships looks like? It doesn't have windows! You want to tell me the Atlanteans did that? Well, good friggin' luck. They didn't have time. I don't care how many magic moonbeams they have. They couldn't have fixed the ship that fast. And then not just fixed it, but redesigned the whole ship. If they redesigned the whole ship, guess what? That ain't the Titanic anymore. Ship of thesis be danged. And besides that, I don't care how much of your magic tech. That area down there is not big enough for the stupid space they show at the bottom of that thing that they go walk around. That space is smaller than my apartments.
Boiler rooms, engines, that kind of thing.
Not to mention,
and it looks like a ballroom.
It looks like a ballroom. Hey, here's a wild idea. I know you somehow caused the ship back together. Where's the rest of the stuff down there that got flooded?
Did they sell it?
Where's all the other junk? Why is the Titanic even in this film other than it's a sequel to a Titanic film? And if it's gonna
remember what I said about
This audio clip owned by Nate Marchand of the Monster Island Film Vault. For more information, please go to monsterislandfilmvault.com. I'm sorry, that's retroactive. Continue.
I was just gonna say, don't you remember what I said about not having motivation or plot or consistency?
I'm aware.
Yes.
But we're talking about things we didn't like about this movie.
You would think that if you're going to call your movie In Search of Titanic and the character started...
It should be a major plot point in finding the Titanic, but it's not even a point for 3/4 of this film! Correction, 9/10 of this film!
Why not do something like, I don't know, make it an incredibly stupid quest to find the Titanic to win the battle. Oh, wait, this is the most one-sided battle ever. There is zero suspense in this because the good guys are always in control.
You're fighting rats and the stupidest sharks on the planet.
You're not kidding. Who hate yellow?
Who have delusions of grandeur and think they're going to take over the world, of course.
Here's what gets me. As much as I don't like the first film, the sharks did within the context of the story. The sharks were a threat. These sharks aren't a threat in this film. The rats aren't a threat in this film. Why are we doing this? Because if somehow the rats get to the surface with the elixir of life that presumably they already drank when they were in Atlantis. They could somehow live forever in that world. Does the elixir of life wear off at a certain point? How often do these people have to keep drinking this stuff?
It just raises too many questions.
I think that the elixir of life is a brainwashing agent.
I think so. Make them grant
That
like
would
illusions.
at least make their motivation make sense.
Doesn't explain how the
it's so
toys come to
perfect.
life.
Because if this place is so perfect and everyone doesn't want to leave, I'm not convinced it's not through gaslighting. Am I the only one who was here when I was
Nate,
hearing the
Nate,
unholy abomination
Nate,
that is the demon fish
Nate,
say that they
Nate,
can't leave?
Nate,
She wasn't a little
Nate,
scared.
Hello.
Nate, you're getting into my second dislike.
Okay.
So simmer down now. Simmer down. Simmer down.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Nate, what is your second dislike?
This could be another Rent Master episode.
Hit the button.
Rentmaster activated.
This audio clip owned by Nate Marchand of the Monster Island Film Vault. For more information, please go to monsterislandfilmvault.com.
If you're going to be a musical, commit to being a musical.
Amen to that. Oh my gosh.
There's one.
You lead with the promise of being a musical.
There's what, 2
You
songs?
start, the music,
this
there's
whole
like 2
place
songs. They both suck. That's
There's
the other
3?
part of sin
I
that
thought
it
there was
commits.
3.
I only remember 2.
Maybe there is 3, I don't know. But the other one is not diegetic. I don't care. The music all sucks, but that's one thing. That's one thing. But you can't even commit to being a musical. Couldn't you have committed to being a musical with nothing but bad music? At least I would know what you are. At least you would have picked the lane. But no, like everything else in this, it's an unholy abomination tossed into a blender of various things that make no sense.
I do want to point out that technically this would fall in the same line of setup that most Disney movies fall into, where they have 3 songs, none of them that anyone actually remembers.
Sure.
Of the old stuff. But those were good movies.
Committed to being a musical.
Yes.
Most of the 90s stuff, the Disney
those are the
Renaissance
Broadway
era.
musicals.
This is okay, fine. But the Disney Renaissance films had at least 5 or 6 songs. That makes it qualify.
I am thinking, when I'm saying it's in the vein, I'm thinking of stuff like the original Rescuers film. So, and a couple of those others from that time period that had about 3 or 4 songs, and they could have left those songs out and it wouldn't have made a lick of difference. But yeah, that doesn't mean that this is a defense of this film.
No.
There are more songs in those weirdo animated Kong movies that you guys didn't watch that are supposed to be musicals, and there's like 3 songs. There's still more.
You didn't have to watch those for us. Why did you watch it for your stuff? You haven't even reviewed them on your show.
He likes to torture himself. Apparently.
This was worse, though.
Apparently.
Yes, this is worse. This is worse.
Jacob.
So, my second dislike. The dub. The illusion of a dub on this movie. Understand, this is a French film made in North Korea.
It's Italian. It's an Italian film made in North Korea, and I'm convinced this English cast was a temp cast. This is not the original cast they meant to release this film with.
No, of course not. But then it's just more like, wait a minute, be like, you're not even trying, the lip flaps don't work, nothing works in this film. It's just like you're trying to watch me like the dog sings something, his voice is splitting off into the atmosphere, and his voice is doing this number.
The only character's voice who matched what they were doing was the king of Atlantis, and he didn't have a mouth.
It didn't fit his motions. Oh my gosh, don't even get started on how the animation. Be like, there's some part of the animation I really enjoy. That's going to be in my likes. A little bit. So
is everybody in this movie a ventriloquist? Or a telepath? Or a telepath? Or a telepathic ventriloquist?
Apparently. But there are points, because you can tell, be like, they rewrote the story in order to fit the narrative they were trying to work with this English dub. It doesn't work because the story sucks. So what you have is you have when the King of Atlantis is explaining everything, and his motivation is this. He's saying this, but the way his body movements are telling, it's saying completely different to what's going on. So it just makes no continuity sense, no story-wise anything. And it's just like, what the crap am I watching? Be like, did you even try? Did you put an attempt in to make this at least legible, to fit anything into these characters' mouths? Nope. You just said it and just didn't even try. It was one of the worst dubs I have ever seen when it comes to a professional. I mean, like, I've seen videos on YouTube, on wherever you find these, that are far better, more for
ladies and gentlemen, I must point out something. The worst film we have ever reviewed on the show, Leo the Lion, it was a better dub!
You are not kidding. The amen to that, you can preach that all day. Because this thing is atrocious in every single fiber of how they're trying to project this story out. And they can't do it effectively at all. Be like through the dub, through the writing, through anything, because they literally like, oh, we got this footage. Oh, let's put this really stupid, nonsensical story, nonsensical dialogue on top of it. If we're not going to try anything, we just got to, hey, it's raining money. Let's put something out. It's garbage.
I don't think it was raining money. I don't know why they made this, to be honest.
It was raining enough money to where they can make another one.
You mean there was a drought?
North Korea wanted one.
Apparently.
Because this kind of...
I wanted one.
Guys, I watched this film, like all of you, and I realized about halfway through that this has to be North Korean propaganda. Atlantis is North Korea. You can go there, but you can never leave.
That is true.
Everyone's happy.
And it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. Of course we want to go here. It's all nice and perfect. There's fancy. It may have once been described as hell. Doggy hell, but hell. But this is going to be the most wonderful place, guys, we've ever been after we've drinking this magic elixir that turns us into mannequin people and robots.
Because we have no free will.
Elizabeth doesn't emote in this film, guys.
They drank the Kool-Aid.
Oh gosh, I knew you would do it. Oh, we're Jim Jones in this thing all the way. Oh.
The two main human characters in this are robots. They do not emote.
Yeah.
They do nothing.
They are there. The mice and the dog does more.
Uh-huh.
And the dog is so in love with that white dog that from half the film, he's not even really that much of a character. And then they decide, oh, that one mouse, that one racist Asian mouse kicked you in the nose. Well, I've got to get revenge on that guy. So I'm going to take this laser gun. And I'm going to be in one of these boats, and that the Atlantean mermaid boats, and I'm going to be firing my laser gun at these mice.
Which, note, the king said, do not harm the mice. Do not
harm the mice, and do not harm the sharks. I have pictures of two mice and one shark getting electrocuted so badly you can see their skeletons.
Somebody also said that he doesn't like violence, yet he goes to war.
War never changes.
Even underwater against the sharks and the rats. Also, to go back to the dub, all of you weebs listening to this right now, I never, ever want to hear you complain about anime dubs ever again.
This was worse than any anime dub I have ever heard. Speed Racer is the is far better than this.
Yeah.
And Speed
know
Racers, the
why? It
joke
was
meme
dumb.
one they throw at this, like, oh, look how bad English dubs are because look at Speed Racer, and like Speed Racer is just this one example of that no other anime has ever done. Since then, the worst you get is 4Kids with their ridiculousness, but they're not like that anymore either. They're no longer trying to pass off rice cakes as donuts.
At least the 4Kids dubs were actually kind of funny and well acted.
Very
Yes.
true. Good point.
They were
This-
entertaining. I
There.
don't know what this is. No, I know what this is. It's torture.
It's brainwashing propaganda that you give to kids so that they become good little soldiers.
Or drive some people crazy.
We will not talk about this film again after this. You know, almost probably not even jokingly. That's how bad this film is. Granted, here's a spoiler alert. Leo the Lion was still worse, in my opinion. Because Leo the Lion had no effort. I at least do see effort here. The effort is to brainwash the masses into believing that
Which I would argue
one
makes it
thing
worse.
is that it's a freaking number.
But I would argue that makes it worse. That means this movie is actually diabolical. At least Leo the Lion was just a poor piece of entertainment.
Except that was propaganda too, but that was vegan propaganda.
Yes.
So what it comes down to is who's
Vegans?
worst,
North
communists
Korea
or
and the dear
vegans?
leader.
I
I don't
don't-
think I don't think there's a choice.
Let's just say that this film is a steaming hot pile and move on.
Yes, it is.
Anything else before we go into likes?
How long do you want to be here?
I am going to bring up one little tiny bonus thing because me and you talked about this last night, Jacob, and we did not bring it up here. All of the animation errors in this film.
Oh, dear Lord. Yes.
Like,
This character's doing the entire time.
like the shot of from one rat to the other, and all they did was jump cut the animation and left the background the same, despite the fact they were facing each other.
Yes.
Or that that 1 second of giant tentacles monster between two seeds. Why was he there? Try, please try. Or fly me to the moon with this thing.
So you have
Is it worse than Evangelion?
Evangelion.
I don't as bad as much as I don't like End of Evangelion. I respect End of Evangelion. I don't respect this film.
No.
There is a difference between liking and not liking, and respecting and not respecting. I both don't like and don't respect this film.
Yeah, there's the scene in particular where the head shark, who hates
Mr. Ice.
Mr. Ice, dum 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 diddy dum dum, doesn't like yellow, yet he's yellow. Be like his entire dialogue. It seems like he's having a seizure the entire time in order to make him move. It's like the entire time. It's so terrible.
It's
animation-
like they forgot how to animate the sharks between
Exactly.
films.
His whole motivation is he hates a color.
Exactly. It's terrible. And plus, he's working for a human for some reason.
We never understood that from the first film.
no,
and
never
the
did.
human villains from that one are in this, and what do? Jack all. They do nothing except get amnesia at the end because we
Yes.
fired the amnesia ray that I wish would get fired at us.
Where's the amnesia gun? I need the amnesia
Okay.
gun.
We've
Jimmy, do you have an amnesia gun?
God, still a tankhead.
okay.
Where's Agent M when we need him?
We are halfway through our review, guys.
Yes, just
Maybe
we're-
even
we're-
3/4, depending on how quick the next section goes.
Yes. We can talk about something.
What are some things that
nice-ish.
are, if you can come up with something, what are some nice things about this film? What are things you actually did like about this film, Nate?
And the commercial breaks on Tubi.
Those did provide a nice respite, didn't they? Learning about all the sales at Walmart that you can get on Labor Day weekend. And the Halloween candy.
Yes.
Happier times.
Yes.
Jacob, I think that was all of his first line.
I think so. Okay, so hear me out. I'm not saying this is a masterpiece at all. I'm not saying that at all. I think it's a pile of garbage that is still burning at the bottom of the ocean. There is certain design aspects of this film that I enjoy, especially when we come to like character costume design or something. Especially when the faceless leader or something. That's a brilliant design.
There's a lot of cool things that would have worked in an 80s girls cartoon.
Exactly. It's it reminds me of like, He-Man or something.
No. The Faceless King was an epic fantasy waiting to happen, but they squandered.
I was talking about the mermaids and mermen themselves.
The mermaids look like the unholy love children of forgotten Golden Age superheroes and rejected Disney Little Mermaid designs.
But yes, I could see them making toys of this.
Yes. Thankfully they didn't. Because that'd be terrible. Because I wouldn't want to own one.
That's because the dear leader does not believe in capitalism.
His loss.
Yeah. He wants to make all the money. Nobody else can. But overall, it'd be like some of the designs in general. I'm not saying the designs are all great. The bouncing fish was a terrible idea. I can't. What was that? What was that stupid character's name?
Pingo.
Pingo.
Pingo is
so
Pingo the demon.
Hell itself.
It's like what if they would have done it right, they could have made Pingo the villain and be like, that would have been
Pingo
great.
should have been the villain.
You're not kidding. It would have been great. He turned his back on the people, went to the sharks, and be like, hey, I will sell you the secrets to the elixir of life as long as you spare my life and don't give me a screwdriver.
No. Don't get me started with that stupid screwdriver.
You're welcome.
Guess what I discovered, guys? There's an actual phobia for screwdrivers.
Really?
Do the people with this phobia make friends with screwdrivers near the end of their lives?
Unless they're doing immersion therapy, I doubt it. But
because
in case
someone
anyone
needs
is wondering, do you suffer from ketsavidophobia? Then you fear screwdrivers.
Ladies and gentlemen, we forgot to mention that Pingo is afraid of screwdrivers.
Because they can take them apart.
Because they can take them apart. And apparently this is such a horrible thing for the people of Atlantis that all screwdrivers have been banned.
And then all of a sudden...
I want to point out the entire underwater nation of Atlantis was built without one single screwdriver.
And yet...
And I'm assuming a drill counts as a screwdriver.
Apparently. For this one character.
Well, I'm sure all the toys don't really like them. Because they could take them all apart.
But hold on.
It's a law that makes sense to a degree.
Yes, it does, in a way.
Until you get to the end of the film where he's made friends with a toy screwdriver and then he goes into the Titanic!
Also, can we talk about how I don't know if Pingo is a toy or an unfortunate fish that had a spring surgically attached to his bum? For no apparent reason! He's in water! How's he supposed to bounce?
Technically, when they're in Atlantis, there is air there.
Yeah, but also there's water.
Because before they drank the stuff that gave them the ability to breathe underwater,
To this movie.
they didn't have the bubbles head things on anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Also, Pingo sings one of the songs.
He does. Oh my god.
That is incredibly bipolar because it goes from sort of making sense to being an anachronistic wannabe Daft Punk song.
That is true. It's so true.
Ladies and gentlemen, of all of the songs in all of the animated Titanic films, Pingo's is the worst.
You're not kidding.
Pingo was the one that made me look at the rapping dog and go, "Oh, how I miss you. You were more wonderful than I understood." In comparison to this garbage,
I should have brought a screwdriver over here, but it great.
I could not even understand what he was singing during the dubstep part.
That was so bad. Was it him or somebody else during that part? You couldn't tell.
I think it was supposed to be him, but it was going through some voice change. I don't know. It's so stupid. We're supposed to be talking about likes, folks.
What we like about this film.
Wait. Hey, Pingo, are you listening to this? Down in your prison of Atlantis? I just got one thing to say to you. Screw you.
And this will be the only time that will be allowed to be said on the show. Jacob, continue your life, please.
So, just to frankly say, there's a lot of design work that is done okay. It's not done well, but there's like you said, the Faceless King, that's done very well. It looks like something from the 1980s, He-Man or something like that. But there's
I'm the Masters of the Universe.
That is far better than
kick
this trash.
Atlantis's butt.
Exactly.
I am Skeletor, and I hate Atlantis. I'm not going anywhere near this crap.
That was really good, by the way.
That was actually very good Skeletor.
That was so good.
I'll get you, He-Man, and your little dog, too.
I'll get you, He-Man. Remember, this movie sucks. Until we meet again.
Wolf.
You owe me a Coke.
Cocaine? We have cocaine.
No, this is not Wolverine and Logan. Wolverine and Deadpool. Deadpool, Wolverine, whatever. You want to build a snowman?
That was my first like, Drew.
Yeah, yes, but I can't.
Are you done yet, Jacob?
Yes. What is your first like, if you have one?
So, I do think, conceptually, definitely needing a lot of rewrites. Don't get me wrong.
A lot.
Conceptually, I think this would have made a great 80s Saturday morning cartoon series.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of good concepts that would have worked great for that. I could have lived with that. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I used to watch a certain television series that for the most part has gone unnamed in this show. And it had a Saturday morning cartoon that was very much a Hasbro designed thing involving ponies.
Ah.
I watched
My Little Sea Pony?
I watched the 80s movie that that was supposed to go to theaters, but Transformers the movie kind of made that not happen. That was a better film. And it looked better, but at the same time, these toys could have fit together. Easily. So easily.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I say this would make a good 80s film.
That makes sense.
A good 80s Saturday morning cartoon film that is just dying for some person who loved these 80s toys that never existed to actually make a good version of the cartoon in 2010.
What was it?
I already said I already mentioned the word pony.
Pony?
Pony.
Yeah, pony. Little thing goes clunk, 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 clunk. Friendship and
A
everything.
little show. A little show where pretty pastel ponies learn about the prestidigitation of companionship.
I don't know. I usually wear red and black and ride a unicorn.
Didn't we review a movie over a unicorn? Oh yeah, The Last Unicorn, which was better than this movie.
Well, that's because it's actually a good movie.
Exactly. It has plot and thought. And actual.
Yeah, my first like of this is actually conceptually, especially once you get all the Titanic away from this that doesn't need to be here. You could have an interesting underwater toy line cartoon show from the 80s that would have been interesting enough to have a good version made later. Why aren't we doing that? Why does that not how ads work? Why must we see this why must this come out in 2004 and be garbage?
It would have been garbage in the 80s.
But it would have been nostalgic garbage in the 80s.
No, this is timeless garbage.
Nate, what's your second
If
like
you have
for
a
this
second
film?
like. Anything?
Is it the end? Is it the credits?
It ended.
There we go. That's it. That's a like.
It was finally over. I could walk out of the theater, except I was home, and
It's the end of the movie, and I feel fine.
Jacob, what's your second for this film?
Second like of this movie, which is a pile of garbage. So I mentioned that I had one joke.
Yes, what is this one
entire movie that kind of chuckled me a little bit? Okay, that's actually kind of funny. It's a character's reaction to something. What's our dog's name?
Smile.
Smile, which always got me was Smile.
Stupid name for a dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a completely stupid name. So when Smile,
his girlfriend doesn't even talk.
No, she doesn't.
There's a joke there that I'm not making because this is a family-friendly show.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, let's not go there. No. But
don't tell the feminists.
Anyways, the point of the film that made me laugh is when Smiles wakes up from his not death. He's like,
we're in doggy hell. No, I'm in doggy hell, and you're taking me there.
It's like, no, I promise we're just going to here. It's like, no, I know this part. Be like, I was a good boy. I was actually chuckling at this. This was funny to me. I was like, okay, this movie's got such humor. And then the scene you go off the preface of the edge of this whatever story it is and goes to the bottom and keeps going and going and going. Kind of like the rat who decided that he can swim. Or he can breathe underwater, which... From the beginning,
by the way, the Faceless King was nearly responsible for somebody dying.
That is true.
I hope he can live with that. Also, I would like to point out, what has this dog seen that he wakes up and sees a beautiful woman and assumes he is in hell?
He had a very bad experience as a puppy.
Apparently.
That makes him hate water. Also.
But he's surrounded by water and got over that in 30 seconds. He also got into a submarine that is surrounded by water that could actually crush him and kill him.
Which technically it did kill him. This is a fever dream of his. Oh, this is a fever dream of Smiles.
No. This is the only way in continuity this works with the other film.
Oh, really?
This is Grandpa Mouse from that first film having a fever and telling a story to his kids, and they have decided they don't like, and they haven't walked away yet. This is literally a fever dream from a dying mouse.
It's like, yeah, but Grandpa, you told us the story last time. That was all good and everything. No. This is what really happened. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I got here. I mean, like, I broke the continuity of time and everything to come back and you tell the real story.
Why are you justifying this movie's existence?
I'm not justifying it because the first movie shouldn't have existed either.
Yeah, true.
I'm just showing how they're grouped.
I'm not convinced this isn't literally God-forsaken.
I am a firm believer in this in what I'm about to say. There should have only been one animated Titanic film, and that was Titanic: The Legend Goes On. Because it was at least a half-decent film.
Very true. I miss the rapping dog.
I do miss the rapping dog.
This,
Dear leader. The dear leader. And his propaganda. His lies.
My final like for this film.
Go for it.
I actually enjoyed the whole bit with the toy who was under the curse to appear like a doll that was actually a Scottish general. Except I still don't know how taking off the wig doesn't technically make this curse. It's curse. It's not a curse.
Good. He was Scottish, and it could have been good.
It was this weird spot in the film where it's like every moment up to this made no sense whatsoever. After this moment, nothing made sense at all. But during this one bit of time, it's like, yeah, you can do it, guy, girl, whatever you are. You can be, you are going to get your revenge on these things. You must fire that gun and show that you are worthy of being a commander of the army.
Wait,
And
are
then
you
just flounder,
saying
literally?
Are you saying this is a gender fluid Scottish soldier doll?
No, no, I am not.
We're going to get litters.
I am not saying this at all. Because he knew what he was. It was somebody else who projected that image of who they thought onto them, and everyone assumed that was what it was. They
So he was
going to get
I
litters.
built. I probably will, but I'm not even getting into that. I may even cut this part out, by the way. But but what I'm trying to get at is this whole bit was like, "Good night, you can write," and then it was gone.
Yeah, like that.
It's
Like,
like
a blink of an eye, and it's gone.
Poosh.
The push of genius. Went up,
And
be like
now
it was
it's
there for a
gone.
solitary moment, and then it was gone,
And that,
like dust in the wind.
dust in the water.
Sure. That chokes everything.
That just makes
Mud.
True.
But that's so let me change it. Plankton in the water.
Plankton in the water.
plankton are actually alive and feed things.
You come up with a tiny microscopic thing in the ocean.
Dirt.
You say nerds?
Dirt.
That is mud. Either way, fellas, gentlemen, we've reached the end of the
Cats
review.
and dogs.
We have.
We have.
Yes.
We need to rate this film.
What are you rating for?
Nate.
Chase.
Nate, how many of
Whatever
our
his name
friends are
is.
you going to call him? He looks
Nate.
He looks nothing like Chase.
You think?
Nate. Who? Ironically, Chase was the one who did the first Tron film, and then he did the second one.
That is true.
But Nate, what is your rating on a 10-point scale for this film, rounded to the nearest 0.5? And yes, 0.0 is an allowable score.
Oh, only 0?
We cannot go negative. I am sorry.
But I wanted to rate it -1 because that's funny.
No, because Godzilla -1's a good film.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is actually the one movie I could actually get away with rating -1, and it would make sense because nothing after seeing this movie makes sense anymore. I don't know what's real and what's not, and I don't know what numbers are anymore. I think it killed all the brain cells, and I was supposed to do my show anymore without my brain cells. I need my brain cells back right.
Jimmy, stick him!
Oh, what was that? I can't hear you, Jimmy.
So, Nate's been knocked out.
Apparently.
Jacob, what are you rating this film?
No, I want to hear yours
Oh,
first.
you want to hear mine?
Yes.
I'm giving it a 0.5.
0.5. Okay, then.
This is not Leo the Lion bad.
Oh, my gosh.
But I ain't watching this film ever again. It is hot garbage. But it's not an insult to hot garbage. So, I have to give it 0.5. What are you rating it, Jacob?
So, I gave this...
I should mention in our private chat, we have a note that says, please stand by, Jimmy.
That's great. I am going to give this movie a 1. And
You're rating it a 1?
yes, I'm rating it a 1. I know. Be like blasphemy. I know. But let me explain. Be like, yes, it is hot garbage. Is it worth watching? No, it is not. It is not worth watching. But there are certain little things, like tiny microscopic little things.
Like
that are-
sands in the hourglass. These
Exactly.
are the days of our lives.
Exactly. Little, tiny little things. Like sea monkeys. Very tiny. Are they really there? I don't know. But they're there. They say they are. Like they poof in existence. They're there. So, yes, this is getting a point. Not a 0.5. A point.
1.0.
1.0. Because for the simple fact that you have like some little design work that works good, some ideas that float in the atmosphere of this movie that work if they were put together and made into a good movie. Actually writing that put process into this, and someone didn't just throw stuff into the wall and hopefully it worked. It didn't work, but you have all these great little ideas that are there. The Faceless King, I thought was a really good idea. And all these little things, it deserves a point. A 0.0 for that.
1.0.
1.0. So you gave it a what?
0.5.
0.5.
And
what?
I think Nate gave it 0.0.
Oh, okay.
But he could have given it. He would have given it less if he could have.
Yes. All right.
Which gives us an average of 0.5.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our review of In Search of Titanic.
Yes.
The single worst animated Titanic film that ever existed. Next
Agreed.
week, Jacob and I will be reviewing Mars Needs Moms.
Yes.
This is a Disney movie.
It is a Disney movie.
But it's not one of the big Disney movies.
No, it was the early 2000s.
I mean, it's not even like in the canon of Disney, counted Disney films. That's what's interesting about this. It's technically Disney Toon.
It is?
I think.
I have to look that up.
Because it's not Walt Disney Animation Studios. We'll find that out next week for certain. But in the meantime, join us on the other side of the bumpers, and we'll talking about a much better show.
Yes.
Much better entertainment.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out Geek Devotions. Geek Devotions is a collaboration of devoted geeks that are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. They produce a weekly geek culture-infused devotional, their podcast Com Talk, and written articles, all designed to encourage and challenge people in the geek community, bridging the gap between their faith and their geekdoms. You can find all their content at geekdevotions.com. And while their podcast, The Bottom Shelf, is not technically a Culture Box show, we're going to go ahead and suggest you go watch that one for more bad movie goodness. Except their most recent episode was Batman 66, which I don't consider a bad film. Either way. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following non-Patreon patron, that being That's Our Babo, and the following Patreon patrons, Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, PaulJPowers.com, Edwin Gonzalez, and, of course, the Monster Island Film Vault. If you would like to have your name shouted out on the show, some special art from Jacob, uncut episodes, you can donate over there. Plus, you can actually donate at the $10 level to get us in 2025 to review a movie of your choosing within reason. Yes, you heard 2025. Our final spot has been taken for 2024. So, and you just got all you got to do to get it is reserve your spot. You can do it now, and then when we get a chance, we will do it next year. You have our guarantee. That being said, the Cellcast would also... Well, that's the end of it. Sorry. Merch. Check out our Redbubble store. You can see the link in the comments to buy t-shirts that we have. We have 3 in there right now. Our logo t-shirt, Team Lasagna, and Team Kibble. Which team are you? Do you hate Mondays? Or are you a workaholic? Actually, you're not much of a workaholic the way I said that, but... I was trying to think of the opposite of hating Mondays.
In energetic on Mondays.
You are energetic every day of the week.
Exactly.
But yeah, go check that out. I'm beginning to worry about Nate.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't come back yet.
Yeah, is he okay?
Hey, Nate, are you there?
You'll be happy to know my intrepid producer literally slapped some sense into me.
Oh, good.
That explains the giant red mark across your cheek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not often I get punched in the face, and this is the first time I think Jimmy's ever actually hit me. We've been podcasting together for a long time, my friend, and this is the first time you've decided to do this. I know I needed it.
It could have been worse. At least it wasn't a certain snarky bonehead.
Yes.
You're triggering me again, okay? I used to be roommates with him.
I know.
And he hijacked the show when you were on.
I'm aware.
Your first Patreon pick. And then he hijacked the power trip a couple of times. And people just think Michael hates him. That they forget that he literally punched me out the first time. Anyway, I need a palate cleanser.
I would say, would you like to review something that is a little more fun, a little more well made, and possibly good?
That actually is a good dub.
Yeah.
Why don't we jump into Spy Family?
Yeah.
James Bond Jr.
Impossible. Call me Big Man if you want a rich man. When you want to face me, it's okay.
The man of Flintstone. What an agent, what a squirrel. He's got the country in a whirl. What's his name? Shh, secret swirl.
Johnny Quest.
Anybody want a peanut?
Did you remember it this time?
I remembered it this time. I remembered the last couple times. Mission 21, Nightfall, and First Fit of Jealousy. First aired on November 26th, 2022. Directed by Teruyuki Umine. My apologies. And written by Tomomi Kawaguchi. This adapts Chapter 30 and Short Mission Number 3. And we are in the middle of the Campbellton arc. I said it wrong last week, but it's Campbellton. Like
Okay.
Wimbledon.
Oh, okay.
Like Wimbledon, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Campbellton tennis arc. In this episode, a new spy named Nightfall joins the peacemaking team between East and West. She thinks she can play a better role as Twilight's wife and enters into a mental battle with Yor.
Which she will lose.
Yes. For this episode only, Nightfall is voiced by a different actress in the English dub.
Really?
Bryn April instead of Lindsay Seidel, who voices her. According to Seidel on Twitter, she had laryngitis at the time the simuldub was being recorded, and this is the reason why she wasn't able to voice her in this episode.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, because it definitely changes.
I also thought she sounded suspiciously like Yor.
Yeah. The start of this episode features an anime original scene of Yor thinking about her most recent failed attempt at making breakfast before answering the door.
Yeah.
In the imagination sequence of Nightfall helping Twilight, one item that appeared in the manga, a first aid kit, does not appear in the anime. Also, in the same sequence, when Nightfall puts on the table her earnings for the month, in the manga, the bills that she sets on the table are actual East German marks. More specifically, they are M100 banknotes, which are blue-colored and feature the face of Karl Marx on the front.
Oh my.
Wow.
It was in the manga, not the anime.
Darn.
In chapter 30, when Yor is making the coffee, she looks at Lloyd and Fiona directly from the kitchen. In the anime, Yor looks at the reflection in the glass of the kitchen cabinet. And this is the first episode where we hear Bond say something other than Borf.
Mm-hmm. Which confuses me, but okay.
I'm assuming it's because she was reading his mind, and apparently he knows enough English that she could understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Jealousy. The penguin stole Anya from me. It's like, calm down, Bond. It's not that bad.
Hey, my family had a black lab mix for a while when I was growing up, and she got jealous very easily.
Okay.
She got very, like, she would pout. Like, you start giving attention to any of the other animals in the house, she would be like, you don't love me anymore, do you? Why do you hate me?
So, what are y'all's thoughts on this episode?
Oh my gosh. So, go ahead.
This episode, other than the fact that I was thrown off by the fact that Nightfall sounded suspiciously like Yor, and I'm like, is that supposed to be part of the joke? Because at first I was willing to kind of go with it, because her whole motivation is she is secretly madly in love with Lloyd.
Except
she's like, I must become his wife. So it's like, is that why you sound like Yor?
No, in the last episode she spoke also, which is why I did not mark this as her debut episode.
That's right.
This is just the first one where we're actually introduced to who she is as a character. And this is the one that's got the different voice actress because laryngitis, apparently.
Yeah, didn't she pop up in the introduction like 2 episodes ago?
Last episode.
That's right.
Episode immediately before this, when they were at the
that's right.
When Anya was trying to was investigating the hospital with Dad.
That's right.
Lloyd.
That's right. Yeah. It's a great introduction to this character. Be like, you saw her in the intro of the previous episode, and I was like, okay, who in the world is this character? And I was like, okay, this is like, who is she? And she pops up like, oh, she's psycho. Like, oh, she wants to be with Lloyd.
She's lovesick, is what it is.
She's lusting very hard after Lloyd.
We find out why she's semi-bipolar.
Yes.
She's just very good at hiding her emotions. Which is
Lloyd taught her to do.
Which is what makes her funny.
Yes,
and as a spy, she ought to be able to do that.
Yes, agreed.
She ought to be able to do that, and you don't necessarily. I mean, you could. I think somebody like Lloyd, you would believe that, you would expect that. You would not expect a young woman full of just boiling emotion underneath to be able to keep it under wraps that well. But that's the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love Anya's reaction to it the whole time. Says, "This woman's creepy."
Yeah,
what? She wants to be my mommy.
Well,
no!
I also love the fact that the naming conventions for these spies are all kind of really, because we had Twilight, then we had Daybreak, because he's the opposite.
Yes.
Of Twilight.
And now we have Nightfall, which is
actually right after Twilight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Technically.
And also, is she a
Actually, no.
A
Batman replacement?
Hang on. Twilight is technically before Nightfall.
That's
Because
what I mean.
Twilight is between night and morning.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
and the version of that in the evening is Eventide.
Oh.
Didn't know that.
It's not a commonly used word, but that is technically the difference.
Evening time.
Oh, see, here I thought it was going to be something clever. It's like, oh, it's actually right before daybreak and right before nightfall, and now you're making me look like a fool up in here.
No, Twilight's the one in between.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
But
anyways, yes. It's like, it's a great introduction to a character. It's like, okay, she's the mysterious character. She's another agent. And you find out it's like, oh, she is the hots for Lloyd, and she's going to do anything in her power to become the next Miss Forger.
Also, interestingly,
she wants to be Miss Twilight. Let's be honest.
She wants to be Miss Twilight.
Yeah, she wants to be Miss Twilight. Also, I
for
noted,
the mission.
I actually put in my notes that what's interesting, why everyone's like, oh my gosh, she's scary. Like the whole opening scene of this is like, oh my gosh, she's scary. She might be psycho, whatever. Nightfall is darker than Twilight.
Yeah.
Figuratively and literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
So the name is actually
Yes.
hilariously symbolic. That's what I was trying to get at.
It makes sense.
Also, she has one of the most epic civilian names I have heard in a long time.
Yes, Fiona Frost. She sounds like she should be an
love this
X-Men.
name.
Yes.
She sounds like an X-Men character.
She does.
I mean, Emma Frost, but yes.
Yeah.
Fiona would have been a lot better name.
Icewoman.
Fiona is probably her sister or something.
Yeah.
Actually, wait.
So her
I'm
sister's an
thinking,
ogre?
Wait, no. I was gonna say isn't there a princess character? It's named Fiona. Yes.
Yeah.
Princess Fiona from Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Shrek. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
So she's an ogre.
Yeah. Apparently.
Apparently.
I don't. Here's the other thing. I don't normally like getting, in terms of narrative, I don't necessarily always like hearing all the internal monologues of every single character, but it works here.
Yeah, because there's just so much going on in the background of everything.
Yes.
There's so much subtext that they
because
can't.
everybody's ignorant of something.
If they had just done the text and left the subtext up to you to figure out, this scene would not have worked as well. By focusing on the subtext, it works so much better.
Agreed.
Yeah, but that's a staple of the show. Hearing everybody completely like they overanalyze everything and always get everything wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the beauty about this show.
And
wonderful.
meanwhile, poor Anya is just flipping out over everything.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Because be like, again, you have Anya, who is I guess more she's our lead into character. Be like she knows everything, and so we're kind of following.
She's our eyes into the world.
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of times.
That's a better word. Eyes into the world, where it's like she's hearing Nightfall's dialogue and what she's saying, her true motivation, her true motivation. And it's just like, it's so, oh my gosh, be like, she can't be like, her reaction to everything is always priceless. She's like, again, overreaction is the key to this show, and just so good.
Yeah, and also it's very character driven. It almost gets into sitcom territory.
It does,
but it's not quite. I don't think it's quite sitcom.
This set of arcs is the most sitcom-y. These that have barely lasted an episode or two. It does pick up in season 2, but into something a little bit more spy action oriented, even though you do have that here too, don't get me wrong, but yeah.
The next episode is very shonen.
It's the second tournament arc of the show.
Yes.
In the first season.
Yeah, but my point being, I said it's very character driven in this, because it's using the characters' personalities and quirks, and in this episode in particular, also their insecurities.
Yes.
Especially poor Yor. Like, I felt for Yor so much in this. She's flipping out over everything. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible wife. I can't make breakfast. Like, all I can do is make stew. And then this other woman is here, and she's trying to take away my husband, and I don't want to have to go back to being to having my brother supervise. Like, she's flipping out over everything, and they're just there came a point where everyone just starts reassuring her, like Anya, like she hears all this in everybody's heads, and then she's like, Mama, I love you so much, and then she just starts pouring it on, and it's so authentic, and it's this. Whoever wrote this script originally in Japanese and then wrote the dub script, like, they understand how children talk and think, and so it felt very genuine. And then Lloyd starts doing the same thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm still happy with you. I'm still proud of you," and all that sort of. Like, I actually when this was all going on, I wrote in my notes, "This is so wholesome, I might get the diabetes."
Yes.
And go figure. A show about a chronic liar and a murderer is more wholesome than Evangelion.
Well, we are talking about Evangelion.
Yes.
There's not exactly an innocent person anywhere in that show.
That is true.
I'm just saying, how is this more wholesome?
Except for the penguin.
Yes.
Pen is probably the most innocent character in that show.
Pen is best penguin.
So,
are you going to tell that to Anya? She needs a new penguin.
That is true.
She's got a stuffed penguin now who has a story.
That is true.
He has badges of honor.
Yes, badges of honor.
Lori, I thought actually did a great job helping with that.
Yes.
What's hilarious is Anya said what I was thinking when she first got it.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's even more dead.
No, not that. She's like, it looks really Frankenstein-y. I'm like, child, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And it's like, yeah, I really couldn't stop that. But I thought he did a good job talking with her and making her understand. No, yeah, he was injured. He's in patching him up. He's going to have these scars, that just like in real life. So, yeah.
Also, let's be honest.
It's a badge of honor. It's something to be proud of.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, let's be honest. That segment starts with poor Anya getting traumatized by character death in her favorite show.
So good. To quote Lloyd in that show, in that spot, why is this show so dark? For a kids anime, that was a very dark. The penguin had blood.
Yes.
What? I mean, granted, Japanese stuff has that because I have seen the original cut of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it does. But like, you want to know what was the first thing that went through my head when I saw that? And I'm like, oh man, we've all been there. Transformers the movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That shocked the generation.
Yeah, it shocked the generation. The parents are like, why is this so dark?
It's like because we needed to sell the new toys and get rid of the old ones, and we just did the logical thing. That was the wrong thing to do.
Yes. You chose poorly.
Poorly.
All right. You ready to move on to the next one?
I would say the dynamic between Bond and Anya was just more precious because you have this more. Poor Bond is now jealous because, oh my gosh, this stuffed animal is getting more attention from Anya than he's getting, and it's so perfect. And then you have this reconciliation where he goes out of his way to get peanuts for Anya.
That was sweet.
That was so sweet. He comes like, oh, it sounds like he's trying to apologize. He's woof. And it's like, yeah, that's good dog. That is a very good dog.
Yeah,
that's why that's why Bond is best dog.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, just like that family dog, when she would get upset or get jealous, she would go find a stuffed animal. We got her own plush chew toys that had squeakers in them, and we could tell the level of anxiety that she was having because she would go to them and she would rip all of the stuffing out of it, rip all of its guts out, find the squeaker and pop it so it stopped squeaking. Like that's how we knew she was upset. And sometimes she would find our stuff and chew on it. To kind of retaliate a little bit. But I do want to point out that there were a couple of lines in that little segment that I'm like, wow, that is actually really profound. One was a bit of advice that Lloyd gave to Anya where he said, remember what Bond Man said, yesterday's enemy is tomorrow's ally.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, wow. That's a good nugget there, Lloyd. And then this whole thing ends with something that seems incredibly simple, but it's incredibly profound, which is, I wish things could be this easy for the East and the West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you hear that and you just think to yourself, yeah, we all wish it could be that easy. World would be a much happier place.
Yes.
Indeed.
Just a simple truth. Be like, I forgive you. Be like, here's peanuts. Just forgive me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Topical jokes avoided.
successfully.
Yes.
Mission 22. The Underground Tennis Tournament, the Cambledon. First aired December 3rd, 2022. Directed by Takahiro Harada and written by Honoka Kato. This adapts chapters 31 and 32, and we are still in the Cambledon tennis arc. In this episode, Twilight and Nightfall enter an underground tennis tournament for a mission as 2 players, and there are no rules for the match. And boy, are these some tough matches.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the one with the steroids. The first tennis match shown in the Cambledon features an anime original scene of the Bullock brothers, before being doped up, who win their game. The flashback scene of the Forgers practicing tennis together is expanded in the anime, and like in the manga, Daybreak appears briefly, being beaten by Nightfall. In the anime, he is shown getting hit by Fiona's serve. Just a fun little thing there. What are y'all's thoughts on this episode? The most epic tennis tournament ever put to film.
Yeah.
I didn't know that illicit tennis was a thing until I watched this show.
I didn't know it was either. When I watched this,
I'm still not sure illicit tennis is a thing.
Well, I guess any sport technically could be once you get enough illegal betting on it.
How do you do no holds barred tennis? What, can you walk over and punch a guy with the racket?
Yes, did you not see the jet-powered racket at the end of this thing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they're operating on anime logic. Okay.
Did you not see how muscly those guys got from the steroids?
I mean, Roy took it on. That makes sense. You know. And I love how the joke with the Royd brothers is you don't see the match.
I love that too. It's just like, and they are injured and dead. Well, not dead. They're falling over. But it's like, okay, that didn't work.
Well, it's because we had to save it for the actual final match.
Yeah. Right. Well, we got to see them go up against the champions who were who were just normal tennis players. Mm-hmm. And we got to see the beginning of the fight against the Campbells, which are the final match. After they tried to gas our heroes. That was interesting.
Yes. Also, the aliases.
Oh, yeah, the phonies.
That Nightfall came up with for them are brilliant.
Yes.
I mean, I thought Forger was funny enough.
Yeah.
She signs them up under phonies.
Yes.
And it never dawns on anybody how funny this is.
Dude, the announcer did say at one point, their name may be phony, but they are the best people out here, or something to that effect. It's like, really? You're the only person who's caught that their name is phony?
Also, the alias she gave herself was Nephalia.
Yeah. Nephalia.
Yes, I got that.
I'm thinking, Nightfall, you might want to work on your aliases.
Well, I mean, his was like it was basically Twilight, but slightly but Russianed up.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but
I don't remember offhand either. But the whole thing is because she's just trying to get close to him, and she's like, "He will see that I could be his like what does she put it, like a partner for doubles for life or something."
Yes.
She was using
the doubles in the game of life.
The doubles, she was using tennis terminology for marriage. It's just like, I don't care if I'm his fake wife. I have to be his wife. I'm like,
it's like, lady,
you're a little scary.
You have problems.
You're a hopeless, obsessive romantic. That might be the most dangerous kind. But it, like I said, everything is firing on all cylinders. I'm glad we have the new voice actress in this, so now she doesn't sound dangerously close to Yor.
Yeah, although her voice seems a little odd in this, but I don't know if it's just because I got used to the other one for that first episode, so I don't know.
Also, Yor almost accidentally figures Anya out again.
Yes.
What? Can you read my mind?
No. Daddy's gonna bring home a big trophy. It's all gonna be okay.
Oh, wait. We have the trick court. That's another reason why this is illicit.
The trick court.
Oh, gosh.
Though we didn't see that till the very end when Nightfall goes to make a step and she goes down too far, and that's what causes her to hit the ball out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, our the Royd boys, they're called the Boring Brothers.
Yes.
Womp womp womp.
Well,
okay,
Bollock.
fine.
Technically, they're the Bollock brothers.
Bollock brothers.
Bollock brothers, or something like that.
Now, for this episode,
but when you're talking,
episode,
because this is still subject to English, Japanese LR dropping. Yeah, it's Boring Brothers.
But well, that's true. But I have to bring something up here. I think you guys hinted at this in your previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
In both of these episodes, we have Twilight and Nightfall communicating with each other by unorthodox means.
Yes. Yeah.
In this episode, they use Morse code. I'm willing to go along with that.
Last episode, they somehow moved their mouths in different ways than they were speaking, but still only said stuff in English.
What in the actual Christian hell was going in the last one?
How does that work?
I'm so confused.
I read the description on screen. I paused it so I could read the whole thing going, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Those words are entirely too different than what you're saying they're saying.
I get it. This is, as you put it, a gag anime.
Mm-hmm. Well, all shonen anime are gag animes.
But I think that the show may have jumped the shark with that.
It was one of the weirder moments. I won't say it fully jumped the shark because it does there are a lot of great moments after this. Because jump the shark would mean it never got any better after that. That was the top moment. But
no, I tend to interpret jump the shark as like the moment where it's like it does something so absurd that you're just not willing to go along with it.
That makes sense.
I've heard that version. I've always heard it's like the moment's so absurd that the show can never recover.
Yeah. But
that's I think the truest form of jump the shark is that.
Yeah.
But I do think it's possible to have jumping the shark moments.
Yes,
but also,
and that was a jumping the shark moment. I will grant you.
Yes, but also we're talking a historical point where the idea of the jump the shark comes from is actually from Happy Days.
Yeah, where Fonzie literally jumped a shark when they were in Hawaii, which is generally considered the craziest thing that happened in the show, and the rest of the show couldn't really live back up to that moment.
But also the show lasted for another 5 seasons.
But it was getting worse and worse as it was going on. And Joni Loves Chachi was absolute horribleness. But
anyways.
Yeah, that was a moment where the show did lose me. Because I couldn't process how that was supposed to work. I get it. It's probably it's meant to be a gag. It's supposed to be a joke, but it strained itself a little too hard for me to find it funny.
It's a joke that I think worked better in the manga than it does in the anime, at least with the translation, because then you don't have to think about how that's matching up with the mouth flaps. You're already assuming that the words they're saying are different than the words you're reading.
It might also have gotten lost in translation.
I think so. It was just something that wasn't going to survive. I don't think it was. They did the best they could with it. It wasn't the best joke. They should have just done. I don't know how else you would have done in that moment because you couldn't have gone straight to the Morse code thing. But either way, no, Neko. It was not an animation error. There was a note on screen explaining what was going on. That they were literally speaking to each other in a code that through their mouth movements, but there was physical word. The physical words coming out were different.
Yeah. Now, to go back to the second episode, Nightfall has one moment in this where I think even Twilight's like, is something wrong with her? Because I thought the same thing. But it's one of those. It's one of those like, it's one of those kind of weird remarks that just gets thrown out and is passed over so fast your brain barely has time to register it. Where she says she wants to change Twilight's diaper.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. She did
And I'm
say
thinking,
that.
it's like,
I wasn't sure if she said that or if that was her thought process, because they were making the Bollock brothers were trash talking him, saying that they thought he'd peed his pants. And was saying,
right.
is she going to change her diaper? And we hear vocally, I would love to change his diaper, but it's not clear if she said that out loud or if she said that in her internal monologue, because there was some internal monologue going on at that time.
And I have no clue how to take that.
That's more of, I have the hots for this man, and it's not going away no matter what happens.
She has like
I'm just
chronic obsession with this man.
I'm just like, does that mean, well, the obvious thing, or do you have a very weird fetish?
She's a yandere. To use the anime word, she's a yandere. She's crazy and in love. She's crazy enough to kill.
Mm-hmm. Love
and
makes
do
you
anything.
do crazy things. No, it makes you do crazy things.
Agreed. Been there. Are there.
Are you doing crazy things right now?
Maybe not right now. Oh, believe me, it'll make you do crazy things. Trust me.
Are you going to change diapers?
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. You never know. Lord willing, you never know.
There may be kids.
Maybe. Don't know yet.
Little baby herons chirping around.
You had to go there, didn't you?
At least I didn't say anything about them barking around.
No.
I had to go with the bird joke.
I think there need. Just let us know when the eggs are laying and who has to sit on the.
Ashley,
Ashley,
if you want to,
Ashley in this.
If you want to kill Nate for that remark, we'll get you his address.
Ooh,
we know where Uber Mogura is heading towards.
Currently, we're in Bangkok.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah, but by the time she gets over there, you might have moved.
Yeah.
We're going to Norway next. Have fun.
Where the Vikings are. But anyway.
Loki.
And the trolls.
I get called that once.
And Thor. Yeah, he's Loki, by the way.
Yeah.
And trolls. Trolls. That's why we're going.
Trolls.
Fun.
Trolls.
I was
not
thinking
the internet variety, not the ones with the funny hair.
Frozen trolls?
I think I'm thinking of is actually
trolls.
Leprechaun 2. I'm just remembering that quote. They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my god! But I think that's actually Leprechaun 2.
Oh, congratulations! You have received 100 messages.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anything else before we cut out of here?
Oh, the match between Nightfall and Yor. That was perfect. I did not expect that, because I know Yor is like this uber assassin.
What?
Wait a minute.
Are you talking about a tennis match?
Wait a minute.
That's not this episode.
Oh, that's right.
That's next week. You watched ahead.
I did by accident.
You traitor.
What can I say? I was enjoying myself.
I was going to say this
so
was
never mind that audience. You didn't hear a thing.
I'm the only one here who's supposed to know stuff in the future because I was watching the show as it came out.
Well, I was just going to point out that I was
my tongue got some drip.
even though I desperately needed this as a palate cleanser after other things.
Yes.
I was quite annoyed that this ended on a cliffhanger.
Yes.
I do apologize.
Wanted to watch ahead.
I do apologize that we gave you the cliffhanger episode. It was not intentional.
It's fine.
I did not set this up this way. Intentionally. Anyway.
Yes.
Next week, the end of the Campbelldon. I keep wanting to call it Cambandelian for some reason.
Hey, get on the tennis court, Shinji.
Well, the way those people were set up in the box, it reminded me of Command Center.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We'll be finishing.
Gendo Akari is sitting up there because the whole it's illicit, and they take bets on this, like people bet on tennis.
Yes.
Gandalf Carr is just like, yes, sir.
Just as Dead Sea Scrolls predicted. I'm sorry. I'm actually remembering.
And then and then suddenly Shinji shows up with Ava Unit 1 body armor and just
forget Ava Unit 1 body armor. He shows up in Ava Unit 1. That would be legal in this game. How's that any different than all the other stuff we see in this illicit, illegal underground tennis tournament?
Yeah, and then Gendo gets a pair of angels to be their opponents, and then poor Shinji has to team up with Asuka and play tennis in their Ava units.
No, she would be the double.
Oh gosh.
And she'd be.
Although you know this is illicit because they have the boring roided up brothers who are two dudes playing against a mixed doubles team. Apparently, we don't care about any of it. Doesn't matter because Nightfall is ridiculous.
There are no rules in underground tennis tournaments. Apparently, except that the regular tennis rules still apply.
Yes,
about when it comes to scoring.
Sean just said Asuka playing Asuka playing tennis against Yor. I need this. I am totally rooting for Yor because I'm not the biggest fan of Asuka.
But yes, next week we are finishing the Campbellton arc, and then we only have as of right now 3 episodes until the end of season 1, and then we'll begin season 2.
I was gonna say, you guys going to season 2?
We are going to go and do season 2 since we can watch the English version of it. So
it's on Hulu.
So join us for that, along with Mars Needing Moms.
Boy.
Anyway,
here's the thing. Let me ask you guys this: do you think the rest of the month is going to be on an upward, albeit short, upward trajectory? Or
based on this, looking at what our next 3 films are, we have at least 2 Fever Dreams. And one I don't know anything about other than I remember the trailer looking stupid. So I really don't know.
I was just gonna say, have you bottomed out now and it's up from here, or
there's a possibility
it might be. I'm not sure because
1.0 to 0.0, so I get better.
I do know that Raggedy Ann and Andy: A Musical Adventure is a mind trip.
Although I'm going to tell you right now, if you somehow find another bad animated Titanic movie, I swear to Jaden Christ that
we don't speak of Super Duper Mega Force here.
That's Samurai, sir.
Just as bad.
I get that joke.
That's Samurai, sir. The Red Ranger is in Mega Force is so stiff he's literally a redwood.
Anyway, Nate, it is time for your favorite part of any show you're on.
Interrogation?
It is time for your shameless self-promotion!
I was interrogated by the dear leader and made to watch this movie. I don't know
Your
what
interrogation was held by Pingo.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know what information they got out of me.
He doesn't remember it.
Yeah. Anyway. In more serious news, shameless self-promotion. So yes, the reason I was dragged onto this was to see the unholy spawn of Virus, known as Tentacles, because he is apparently a kaiju. He is not on the island. He will never be on the island unless he gets cooked and eaten, and I will not blame anybody, although anybody who eats him might get sick. So, Virus, you're on the board. If they're listening to this, please don't cook your son because we don't want him. Although, if we need to do a paternity test to confirm this, I don't know how that works for space squids, but
I have no idea either.
I'm just saying, whatever on that. It could just be a wild fan theory. I don't know. Shout out to Edwin Gonzalez for that absolutely insane fan theory.
Yes.
Anyway, so listen to
our
the
shared
Monster
fan.
Yeah. So please listen to the Monster Island Film Vault, a podcast seeking entertainment and enlightenment through tokusatsu. Even if this movie possibly killed all the brain cells that you had in order to find any enlightenment. Yes, Jimmy, you slapped them right back into my ears. I know. They like you guys were spared that. It was gruesome. It was messy. It was ugly. Like my brain just fell right out of my ears, and he like picked it up, stuffed it back in, and slapped the sense back into me. It was weird and glorious all at the same time. But anyway, or I'm making all of this up. You decide. So check out that show, and also check out my relatively new right now podcast that picks up where both the Power Trip and Henshin Men left off, Henshin Power V3. We are currently in the middle of our coverage of Kamen Rider V3, the second ever Kamen Rider series, which, even though I thought it was now, even though officially released now out of print, thank you, Discotek, you're bringing it back in a few short months on Blu-ray. So we were just ahead of the curve on that show. I co-host that with Christopher Reiner, aka Sentai Guy, and Jake Hambrick, aka the Metal Don. I am known as the Subro on that show, a pun off of Supro or Super Eye Productions. Our next series, after we're done with V3, will be the original Ultraman, which I am really looking forward to. So give that a listen. And also, I am part of the roster of actors for Scyther Inc. Productions, started by Carl Dutton. I just, as of this past weekend, finally made my debut on the Avengers audio drama as Johnny Storm, baby. And I just got a script from Carl where Johnny's going to make a cameo in X-Men. So, and I've also found out that Johnny will also be making a cameo in a Spider-Man audio drama that will be set in the same universe that somebody from there is doing.
I didn't realize someone was making a Spider-Man one.
Yep,
I missed that announcement.
Yep, somebody's making a Spider-Man one. In fact, actually, I just got cast as somebody on that show. I'm pretty sure I can announce it. I'm going to be John Jameson on that one.
Oh,
Which means eventually he'll become a werewolf. Eventually.
By night?
Yes. No, not werewolf.
It's a different character.
Yeah.
Man-wolf. Yeah. So, go listen to Power Rangers The Art of Drama Season 4, which is going to be adapting Zeo, will be starting soon. And X-Men Season 4 is well underway at this point. No clue yet as to when Deadpool will be showing up. But I have been promised eventually he will.
I'm sure he'll get worked in.
He will, I am sure. I've also gotten offers from other people to play Deadpool. It's kind of wild. I've also had offers to play my old roommate Rito. I'm never getting away from these characters.
Apparently not.
Nope, not anytime soon.
Never, ever. But yeah, and then also check out my author website, nathanjsmarchand.com, to keep up with all of the writerly things that I'm doing. You can go there and find links where you can buy all of my books. And a lot of times I post stuff. I just did a live stream actually a few weeks ago talking about Gen Con with my friend Eric Anderson. That's up on the website right now. I'm also a contributing writer to such books as Giant Bug Cinema, where I was saddled with writing about the monster from Green Hell because no one else wanted it. Giant wasps in Africa in the 50s.
Still a better kaiju than tentacles.
Yes.
Yes.
Quite. And did I mention Kaiju United? I'm a contributing writer to Kaiju United as well. The best kaiju website on the internet. And that's just some of the many things that I do. I'm also working on a Rito one-shot that explains his origins for Scyther. And yeah, I got a lot of stuff coming. I'm always busy. Jimmy reminds me every day that I trend toward workaholism. No, you will not take away my kaiju energy drinks. I need them. Just saying.
I just saw the eye twitch, so I'm saying give him his energy drinks.
Or
That
it'll
might
get
be a
bad for everybody.
That might be a sign I've had too many.
Maybe.
Just maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that's all the important stuff I've got right now. I'm working on some book projects as well, hoping to have those out as soon as possible, including a new short story collection.
Nice.
So, yeah. I should probably write all this stuff out so I can make, rattle it all off more easily.
Yes.
Thank you, Nathan, for coming on our show. We do appreciate it. For the 5th month in a row. You're almost like a side host by this point.
Yeah. Although I got to bring this up. You mother truckers, you're so lucky. You're so lucky that last Patreon spot was taken. I was going to up my pledge live on the air, and you would be locked in, and my revenge was going to be swift and glorious.
Well, I can't guarantee swift, but it can still be glorious if you want to go ahead and reserve a 2025 spot.
It was a Christmas thing, so...
There's always next Christmas.
Christmas 2022.
We'll see about next Christmas, but you're gonna hate me.
I already know some things that we're gonna have to eventually do at Christmas that would also belong in Bad Movie Month. So, Rap City Kids, anyone?
You're not ready for this. If you thought this was bad.
Oh, I already have something that's worse, and Mark Hamill is in it.
Ooh.
Are we on the same wavelength here?
Is it Rap City Kids Believe in Santa?
No.
Then it's no. But on that note, thank you all for joining us. So join us next week for Mars Needs Moms. And in the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And Nathan. And Jimmy.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His Letterboxd page at ggeorge759. His Twitter at ggeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming. On YouTube at Cellcast. On Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
Remember, In Search of Titanic is North Korean propaganda for brainwashing. Until we meet again!
Pingos is the last face you'll see before being pulled down into doggy hell.
Until we meet again!